Does eating healthy have to come at a huge budget cost? I submit that it does not. So I'm talking all about how to eat healthy on a budget without spending a crap ton of money. Because if you're like me, I'm pretty dang tight and I don't like spending money. So I think you'll get a lot out of this. So strap in, get ready for episode 263. Let's go.
The future of fitness.
How do you gain muscle mass?
Fitness is not complicated. It's simple when you break it down.
There's so much information out there.
No fads, no diets, just plain simple habits.
You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast.
Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here. I really try to break down fitness into simple, bite-sized pieces, pun intended. I try to keep my episodes very short, 10 to 12 minutes, and pack a punch, and hopefully provide some information that you can apply today, right now, wherever you're at. For my return listeners, thank you for coming back. It means the world to me that you continue to tune in. And if you get anything out of this podcast, please do me a huge favor. Leave us a review, whatever platform you listen to us on, whether it's Spotify or iTunes or iHeartRadio. Just leave us a quick review, give us 5 stars. Like, that would mean the world to me. With that being said, let's dive in. So when it comes to eating healthy, a lot of times we think, well, that means eating organic and grass-fed and, gluten-free and GMO-free and all the frees, right? Like all the frees. Like, we think that our food has to be grown on a mountaintop and it can't be touched by human hands and unicorns have to collect it, and so it's very expensive. And that's simply not the case. In fact, I would argue that I spend far less money on food for myself and my family than the majority of, well, I don't know about the majority, but than of a lot of people I know. Because first off, you know what really eats into your food budget? Eating out. That's right. Even going through the fast food drive-thru. Most people, let's say you spend $10 on a lunch. You go through the drive-thru and you grab a lunch. $10. My breakfasts for the week cost about that. That's right, for the week. So you can't equate, you think, oh, I'm just going, through the drive-thru. I'm going to pick up a fast food meal and it's cheap and I'm doing this cost effectively. You're still losing a lot of money by doing that. And not to mention all the health, benefits you're losing by eating fast food. But that's a whole nother story. So first off, I'm here to tell you that the number one thing you need to focus on is, where do you shop? Because where you shop makes a huge difference in how much you spend. I'll give you for an example. There are 3 grocery stores here in my town, and they all dramatically differ in price. First off, there is Publix, which is the very expensive grocery store, and we all know those stores, places like Whole Foods, like Publix in our case. There's always that one grocery store that just, for some reason, is a lot more expensive than any other one. Then there is usually the middle ground. For us, that's Kroger. Kroger's kind of an inexpensive option. It's not bad. That's where we used to shop until I discovered Aldi. Now, I get that maybe you don't have an Aldi near you. There's also Lidl. It's Lidl. That's another one that's similar to Aldi, but it is a budget-friendly grocery store. And let me tell you, if you've ever been there, it's a lot different than a grocery store. It really is. And the first time I was in there, actually the first several times I shopped there, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't think I can get everything here. And that was before I realized how much is packed into that little store. So that's where I shop. And from going just from Kroger to Aldi, we cut down our bill $50 a week. So $200 a month we saved just simply by switching where we shop. So if you think that where you shop doesn't matter, it absolutely does. What are some meals that you really enjoy? Think about that. Just think about some regular meals you eat. Now, you probably can figure out ways to make those meals healthier, which is what we do. We don't eat anything crazy. We don't eat these elaborate, expensive, crazy, healthy meals. We're usually just eating normal meals. We just make them a little bit healthier. For example, we do chili a lot. And instead of buying ground beef, which, side note, is about double the price of the ground turkey at Aldi, we do ground turkey, we do beans, tomatoes, and we have enough food literally for 2 nights for about $8. And that's for a family of 4. We'd like to do chicken with a side of some potatoes and some vegetables, another very inexpensive meal, doesn't cost anything. We like to do Taco Tuesdays in this house, so we do, again, ground turkey with that. We do some black beans or some refried beans, served over some lettuce, some whole wheat tortillas. Like, get creative with your food options. Don't think that you're limited to crazy, you got to eat, salads or chicken and rice and broccoli 3 times a day because I'm with you, that stuff gets old. You can do a whole wheat pasta with some chicken and some veggies mixed in and a homemade marinara sauce. Like there's a lot of different options you can do to make really healthy, inexpensive meals from home. So that's number 2 is think simply with your meals. Number 3, don't buy brand name stuff. Like there's no point. Most of that stuff is made on the same exact assembly line. The name brand product and the store brand product. It's made in the exact same factory on the same exact assembly line. They just package it differently and charge a whole lot differently. So don't buy into the brand label. That's another way you can save a ton of money. And then we come down to things like snacks. When you're cutting out things like soda and juices and teas and drinking water, when you start cutting out the candy, the cookies, the whatever, and start replacing it with popcorn or with some yogurt or some cottage cheese. Again, you're cutting down your expenses overall. Junk food is not inexpensive. We think it is, but it's not. When you if you get rid of soda, like some people drink a couple cans of soda a day. And last time I checked, like soda isn't very inexpensive. A 12-pack is like $6 depending on what you get. So, don't think that junk food is cheaper because it's not. I have found it not to be. Some other very inexpensive foods, potatoes. Potatoes are so underrated. You can make some baked potatoes. You can cut them up and cook them in your air fryer. You can cube them. You can boil them. You can make them mashed. Like there's a million things you can do with potatoes to keep it fresh. And potatoes are dirt cheap. I think a 20-pound bag was $5 in the store the other day. And that'll last you a while. Rice is another inexpensive thing. I'm not a big fan of brown rice. Grab some basmati, some wild rice. Grab a bag of it. Again, a great aside menu option. Oatmeal is an amazing, inexpensive food. Oatmeal is probably one of the best carbohydrates out there for you. And what do you get? One of those giant containers for under $2. That'll last you a month, depending on how often you eat oatmeal. Fruit, go with what's seasonal. Don't buy the fruit that's twice as expensive because it's out of season. Go with whatever's in season. If apples are in season, buy apples. If it's summertime and you've got watermelon and peaches and stuff like that on sale, then go with those. If strawberries on sale, go with those. Bananas are usually always inexpensive, which is another great snack for any time. Same goes with veggies. Don't feel like you've got to, get organic fresh veggies with everything. We buy a lot of frozen vegetables. If you can't get fresh vegetables, if they don't have what you want, or if maybe it's out of season and again it's more expensive, look at the frozen. Because in all honesty, frozen is just as fresh, if not fresher, than the fresh vegetables. I know that sounds weird, but it's because when they pick it, they freeze it very quickly, and so it maintains a lot of the nutrients. So if you're going to go with something other than fresh vegetables, go with frozen. It's better than canned because it hasn't been sitting as long and doesn't have as much added stuff to it. So my point in all this is be smart, figure out some meals. You don't have to get crazy with stuff. You don't have to eat terrible things that you don't like. You can still enjoy your regular foods. Just monitor your portion sizes, make sure your portion sizes are correct, and think of creative ways to make it more inexpensive. It's not hard. We do just a prime example. We do a chicken Alfredo, and you're like, well, chicken Alfredo is not healthy. Well, hold on a second. I do whole wheat pasta. I do chicken breast that I cube and cut and cook. Then I do a cottage cheese sauce. So rather than buying that I don't even know what's in it, the Alfredo sauce in a jar, which in my opinion just kind of tastes gross anyway, grab a container of low-fat cottage cheese, add some milk to it, and blend it till it's smooth. Cook it in that, add some broccoli, and you've got an amazing meal, again, for dirt cheap. It's literally just the cost of the pasta, the chicken, the broccoli, and it makes like a huge casserole dish. So get creative with your meals. I hope this sparks your interest in trying to figure out how you can get budget-friendly ideas for your groceries, for lowering that overall bill. It is possible. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And for those wondering, like, what is your bill, Brian? Like, what do you spend? On average, it's about $150 a week for a family of 4. That's not just me. That's for my entire family. So roughly $600 a month. Are there weeks where it's a little bit higher? Sure. But there's also weeks where it's a little bit lower. So that's what it usually averages out to. That's what we budget. And our budget per month is $600 for our groceries. So it can be done. All right. I hope this helps. If you found it helpful, again, please leave us a review at whatever platform you listen to on. That would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, remember, no matter what you're struggling with, if you're struggling with getting groceries on a budget, you absolutely can do it. You've got this.